Heartland Season 19, Episode 4, Bloodlines. Full breakdown. What happens when your land, your legacy, and everything your family built is threatened, not by fire, flood, or failure, but by a signature on a legal document? Heartland Season 19, Episode 4, pulls no punches. Calloway isn't just a name anymore. He's a storm, and in Bloodlines, that storm crashes straight into the Heartland family. Loyalties are tested, corruption is exposed, and the fight for the ranch becomes more than just personal. It becomes a battle for truth. The episode opens in near silence, but it's not peace, it's pressure. That eerie quiet before the sky breaks open. Riley stirs in the loft above the barn, his sleep clearly broken by more than bad dreams. Below, Echo shifts uneasily, snorting as though he can sense the danger coming. Outside, dark clouds gather over the foothills, creeping like smoke toward the ranch. Inside the house, the weight of everything, Calloway's threats, legal pressure, and internal doubts, sits heavy at the kitchen table. Amy and Jack face each other, unspoken tension in the room. Between them, a single envelope, cold, white, heavy with consequence. Inside, legal documents from Calloway's lawyers formally challenging Heartland's right to the East Pasture. Amy finally speaks. He's not backing down. Jack's eyes don't move. Then neither are we. And just like that, the episode kicks into gear. This is an episode not just about land, but about identity, about fighting back when everything feels like it's slipping through your fingers. Just when things start to feel hopeless, Lisa returns from Calgary with a surprise. Clara Singh, an environmental land use lawyer who once went head-to-head with Calloway's company in British Columbia and won. Clara is calm, composed, but sharp. She wastes no time reviewing the documents. Sitting with Amy and Lisa, she combs through every paragraph, every clause. Then she stops. A line catches her attention, a small but suspicious manipulation in Calloway's paperwork, legal language designed to confuse and mislead. Clara looks up. This could be fraud. It's a flicker of hope. If they can prove Calloway deliberately misrepresented facts in his land claim, they could not only shut him down, they could expose him. Meanwhile, Lou and Georgie are fighting their own war. Armed with research, maps, and paper trails, they present their findings to the Hudson Town Council. Bribes, illegal rezoning, campaign donations linked to Calloway's shell companies. But instead of outrage, they're met with closed doors and blank faces. The corruption runs deeper than they feared. Even council members they trusted are compromised. Back at Heartland, Riley tries to focus on Echo's training, but his fear of losing her and his place at the ranch keeps breaking through. In a heartbreaking scene, he confides in Katie, revealing how he used to sleep in a shelter with a photo of Echo folded in his pocket. "She kept me alive when nothing else could," he says. Katie, growing more like Lou every day, doesn't flinch. "Then we fight for her. And for you." Their conversation is overheard by Amy, who later shares with Jack that Riley reminds her of herself when she first bonded with Spartan. "There's a fire in him," she says, "but he needs to know he's not fighting alone." Tensions escalate when Heartland receives notice that a court hearing has been scheduled in just 2 weeks. They have limited time to build their case. Clara sets up strategy meetings, and everyone rallies. Katie begins organizing the digital archive. Lisa digs into Calloway's older land deals. Daniel contacts others who once worked for him, hoping to uncover a pattern of behavior that can be used in court. It's a full family effort, one that includes even the younger generation. Amy also reaches out to Ty's old veterinary colleagues, hoping someone might remember details from past cases involving Calloway's horses. Any small thread could become critical. Meanwhile, Mallory returns for a surprise visit, bringing her usual mix of energy and sharp insight. She's no longer the awkward girl we once knew, now a traveling equine therapist. She offers to work with Echo to help assess deeper trauma signs. Her reunion with Jack is heartfelt and teary, reminding viewers of how far the characters have come. Mallory's presence brings both humor and wisdom, and she quickly connects with Riley, telling him, "The horses never forget who stood with them. Neither do people." The emotional center of the episode deepens when Daniel receives a call from a former stablemate, a man named Travis, who also suffered under Calloway years ago. Travis is reluctant at first, but agrees to drive up and share his story with the legal team. That night, around the kitchen table, He tells a harrowing story of abuse, manipulation, and a barn fire that was never properly investigated. It's a powerful moment that brings everyone to tears. Even Jack, who quietly excuses himself before returning with a faded photograph of Ty, placing it on the table in front of Riley. "He stood where you're standing now," Jack says, and he never gave up either. Later that evening, the family gathers outside around the fire pit. With the stars above and the weight of the day still heavy, they talk, really talk, for the first time in a long while. Lisa tells Riley about the early years of Heartland, when Marion almost lost everything, and how Jack held it all together. Amy shares how she doubted herself after Ty's death, but found her way back through the horses, through family. Mallory, sipping tea, reflects on how every time she came back to Heartland, it was like coming home to a part of herself she didn't know she missed. These moments aren't dramatic, they're human, and that's what makes them so powerful. Meanwhile, tension climbs when Calloway's men are seen on the outskirts of the ranch, allegedly surveying the contested land. Jack confronts them. "You've got no right to be here," he growls. "We'll see what the courts say," one of them replies. It's not just intimidation now, it's escalation. Riley wants to chase them off, but Amy stops him. "We don't stoop to his level. We stand our ground the Heartland way." With new evidence mounting, Amy, Clara, and Lisa meet with the lawyer in Hudson to build their defense. But they're not just defending land or a horse, they're defending the legacy of Heartland itself. Clara explains that if they can prove a pattern of intimidation and abuse tied to Calloway's land acquisitions, the courts may issue an injunction. It's the first time anyone dares to speak of stopping him outright. Clara warns, though, that legal battles can get ugly, especially when the other side has deep pockets and even deeper grudges. Later, Lou organizes a community meeting at Maggie's to rally support. Locals begin sharing their own stories. Families pressured to sell, lands mysteriously rezoned, contracts signed under duress. The room buzzes with a sense of unity that's been missing until now. One elderly rancher says it best. "Heartland's not just a ranch, it's a symbol. If we let it fall, we all lose." The meeting ends with a petition signed by dozens of townsfolk willing to testify in court if needed. A local journalist from the Hudson Post attends and promises to run an editorial series called "Who Owns Our Land?", bringing wider visibility to Calloway's tactics. Katie, inspired by everything happening around her, starts documenting everything on video, interviews with family members, former workers like Travis, and community voices. She calls it Heartland, the fight to stay free. Her goal is to create a digital story that can reach beyond the courtroom. It's a bold idea, and Jack, initially skeptical, surprises everyone by offering to narrate the introduction. Even Georgie, busy training for her qualifiers, contributes a remote interview, sharing what Heartland has meant to her from across the country. In a quieter subplot, Clara and Lisa bond over their shared experiences as women who fought to be heard in male-dominated spaces. Their late-night conversation over coffee provides a rare glimpse into Clara's past, her upbringing on a small vineyard in Kelowna, the legal battle that cost her family their land, and why she's vowed never to let bullies win again. "This fight," she tells Lisa, "is about more than Heartland. It's about showing kids like Riley that the world doesn't belong to men like Calloway." In the quiet moments that follow, Amy returns to the barn late at night. She finds Riley sitting beside Echo's stall, head bowed. She sits beside him, and after a long silence, he finally speaks. "Do you think, if Ty were still here, he'd say I'm worth it?" Amy looks at him, eyes brimming. "He'd say you're exactly the kind of person Heartland was meant for. He'd say you're the reason we keep going." The episode ends with a symbolic scene, Riley and Echo galloping along the boundary fence line at sunrise, Amy watching with her arms crossed, her expression proud but weary. The sun casts long shadows across the land, but there's strength in the stillness. "They say blood runs deep," Amy says in voiceover, "but at Heartland, love runs deeper. We don't just fight for family, we fight with them. We rise with them, and no matter how long the night, the light always finds its way home." As the sun rises, we cut to Calloway watching drone footage of Heartland on his screen. "They think they've won a battle," he says coldly. "They've just given me a reason to start a war."